Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Perfect World based on novel. So let's. In the depths of his flesh, wisps of light could be seen, calm and unmoving, laying dormant within. Even with the heavenly eye, it was still a bit blurry, but he was now sure that those were flames that were extremely familiar. He had seen these before, it actually ran into my body. I never noticed it all this time. It didn't injure me. Shahao was extremely shocked. He had previously seen a flame next to the 9 coffins that was incomparably mysterious. It had previously forced away the green lunar flame, so one could very well imagine how powerful and immeasurable it was. He had previously heard Qi Daolin grumble indistinctly to himself that this flame could burn all evils, purge heaven and earth. From a certain perspective, it couldn't be considered a flame, because it was made out of symbols. The only reason they called it a flame was because the mysterious symbols shone. They merged together and looked like flames. How was he supposed to summon it and transfer it? These mysterious symbols contained tremendous secrets. If he could comprehend through them, he might have a solution to all of the auspicious and strange things. No matter how many came, he might be able to burn through them all. Shahao tried to communicate with it, but it didn't move, laying dormant. For the next few days, Shahao's divine senses permeated into his body, roaming about these mysterious symbols. He wanted to have it revive, so he could communicate with it. However, he was disappointed, unable to obtain the slightest bit of progress. Following a light sigh, Shahao got up. He walked down from the Dao Comprehension Stone and looked into the distance. "Qingyi, please burn me with your green lunar flame." He suddenly said this. "Did you go stupid?" The little rabbit said inarticulately while nibbling on a holy medicine, looking at him with her widened eyes. Qingyi and Cao Yushan were stunned as well. The origins of the green ancient flame were astonishing, born an immortal ancient, known as an immortal seed left behind by the matchless true immortal Qingyu. Using it to burn oneself, there was definitely no good result from it. The reason why Qingyu was okay was because this flame acknowledged her. They coexisted with each other, and she had a chance of obtaining its inheritance. "Don't worry, it'll be fine as long as it's a bit weaker. I have something inside of me that I need to test out," Shahao said. When Qingyi found out that the other flame was in Shahao's body, she couldn't help but feel stunned. There was actually this type of thing that happened. A strand of green flame seeped out, slowly approaching Shahao's body, extremely gentle. It entered his body, pure like green moonlight. "It hurts so much." Shahao grimaced. As soon as he got closer, his flesh felt like it was being hacked by blades. He felt incomparable pain. Qingyi carefully controlled it. Having the flame calm down, the offensive power decreased. She moved it closer to the region where the mysterious flame lay dormant. Right now, regardless of whether it was Qingyi or the divine striking stone, none of them could offer much help, only able to worry. However, the little fatty Cao Yusheng's inheritance was strange, and he knew quite a bit. Shahao didn't act rashly. He continued to observe the Supreme Being blood, because he always felt like that strand of immortal energy didn't scatter, and was instead absorbed inside. There was no way there were no changes at all. He waited patiently. Half a month later, he finally discovered something different with his martial Dao heavenly eye. A new type of symbol has started to appear, evolving, forming, and tangling together. Shahao was shocked. Apart from heaven's hand and reincarnation symbols merging, a third type of symbol appeared in his Supreme Being blood, only, it was still in its beginning stages, difficult to be sure what kind of ability it had exactly. He poured all of his concentration into this, silently observing and carefully sensing the changes. For him, this was a completely new experience. He was witnessing the birth process of an extremely powerful precious technique. He could vaguely see the origins and development of the road of cultivation. His primordial spirit was completely immersed, carefully observing and silently receiving enlightenment. This type of development was extremely hard to obtain for cultivators. However, how many people could accomplish this? The number of people who had heavenly eyes were pitifully few to begin with, and after obtaining them, how could they encounter this type of opportunity, personally witnessing the birth of an unmatched technique? Observing, experiencing this type of evolution, for Shahao, was the opening of a new world. For him, it possessed unimaginable meaning. The road of cultivation, the path of origins, the path of ascension, is similar as well. It is just like this, established bit by bit, and only then will it flourish like today. After who knew how much time had passed, the Supreme Being blood gradually calmed down, and those symbols stopped their transformation, entering a state of hibernation. A third unmatched technique was, without a doubt, going to take form. It only needed time. As such, Shahao closed his eyes, his mind carefully thinking for an extremely long time. Only after that did he walk down from the Tao Comprehension Stone feeling incredibly enriched, his harvest great. There will be a day when I will establish a completely new cultivation method, one different from the immortal ancient Great Era, one that is different from that of the present Great Era as well, a completely different path that will transcend above. Shahao said quietly. This type of thought emerged in his mind. When the others heard him, they all became petrified. What kind of boldness was this? Was he going to produce an entirely different cultivation system? The divine striking stone, Qingyi, and Cao Yuxing's expressions changed. Their minds were greatly shaken. This great era was already without lightning tribulation, disappearing with the end of the last great era. However, right now, it unexpectedly appeared again. It was rumored that in immortal ancient, there were unmatched creatures who shocked the heavens with their words, consequently stirring up great lightning tribulation. However, that was something that happened in the immortal ancient great era. How could they have appeared in this era? They looked towards Shahao, their expressions strange. Could it be that this type of cultivation path really might appear in the future? If that really was the case, then the effects would definitely be tremendous, no end of achievements. Shahao calmly comprehended again. He observed the changes that were happening in his Supreme Being blood, and only after a month had passed did he open his eyes, preparing to come out of isolation, and ignite the 3,000 Tao flames. Careful, do only what you are capable of. What else could they say? They couldn't advise him against this, so they could only wish him well. Soon after, all 3,000 bluestone paths illuminated, burning fiercely. Symbols overflowed into the heavens, immediately engulfing the heavens, as if it was going to tear apart the skies. Without a doubt, the disturbance here already created some irregularities within a few small worlds. Everyone could feel that a strange energy was pervading the air. Heart-shaking fluctuations were extending, leaving all of them feeling shocked and confused. The bluestone path's Tao flames burned the 9 heavens, the world rumbling. A furnace was condensed, wrapping around Shahao. The symbols of 3,000 great Tao turned into flames, carrying out a refinement. This place rumbled with Tao sound, shaking heaven and earth. This type of unrest was unprecedented, exceeding all of their predictions. The divine striking stone even set a formation to isolate this place, but boundless ripples still traveled in all directions, spreading outwards. After who knew how much time had passed, Shahao released a roar. Even though his entire body was burnt black, there was a forceful wave of vitality that surged outwards. His gaze looked even more like cold electricity. He already got up. Even though he was seriously injured this time, his body in a terrible state, it wasn't as serious as they had imagined. The inside of his body was shining. Soon after, a great power surged from inside outwards, recovering his injured body, the rays of light resplendent. He felt more powerful than he had ever been before, advancing quite greatly. He didn't even use the half ginseng fruit, yet his body was already roughly recovered, making it through the refinement of the flames. A strand of immortal energy also appeared, wrapped around him like a true dragon, moving around his body, making him look aloof and transcendent. He succeeded. Shahao didn't waste any time. He asked Qingyi, the little rabbit, and the others to send over the medicines. He quickly devoured them to recover his body to its optimal state. It was because the ominous was already approaching, reaching outside the bluestone paths. This time, it wasn't quite the same. It wasn't grey fog, but rather pitch black, ink-like streams of energy. There was a deathly stillness. It lacked life force. One could see that several figures were closing in. The ancient lamp suspended in the sky, releasing chilly radiance. This time, the number of figures that appeared was a bit different, unexpectedly less of them towering in the black fog. Did the difficulty decrease? Even heaven seems to want to help him. The divine striking stone muttered, revealing a happy expression. Let's hope that is the case. Cao Yuxing said. However, soon after, they closed their mouths, revealing a concentrated expression. They stared forward with disbelief. The first figure that appeared was tall and sturdy, eyes resplendent. On his back was a pair of pitch-black wings that carried golden patterns. Heavens, those are Kuan Peng wings, only, the colors seems a bit off. The little rabbit cried out with shock. There was no mistaking that energy. The second creature appeared, black-colored lightning wrapped around it, its body carrying pitch-black bloodstains, as if it had just withdrawn from the battlefield, the armor on its body full of holes. Don't tell me that it is created in the Lightning Emperor's image, right? The divine striking stone stuttered. The third creature walked out, its body curling with waves of heaven tribulation light. The fourth creature walked out. It looked quite strange, it appeared to be changing from an elder to a child, continuously changing, as if it was undergoing reincarnation. Not good. When these people saw these four creatures, they were all horrified, because they were too powerful, all evolved to the limit. Were there still more? They didn't know. It's not that bad. This time, I'll eliminate them all at once. I want to see if there will be more ominous events. If there are, then I'll wipe them all out. Shahao said, his voice resounding, ringing through this world. Right now, all 3,000 bluestone paths were swaying in response. The black fog rushed over, spreading over the 3,000 ancient paths, filling this place with coldness and killing intent. Four powerful experts walked closer step by step, all of their auras astonishing. They revealed their true appearances. They weren't bodies covered with bronze armor, different from what they had seen in the past. One wore feathered clothes, another an armor that was full of holes, all of them vivid and lifelike. These people's eyes were full of radiance, not stiff and inflexible like the ones before. When they opened and closed their eyes, astonishing radiance could be seen, as if they had life. This made people tremble inwardly. The situation was not looking good. Qingyi, Cao Yusheng, and the little rabbit were all quite worried, but they couldn't offer any help. They backed up, only able to watch this battle. Shahao didn't produce a weapon, standing there unarmed, because he knew that this was a confrontation of precious techniques, a competition of the flesh. External objects were useless. If he really did bring out a weapon, then it might very likely be destroyed. The four great experts were too extraordinary, all of them incomparably terrifying. Even though the enemy was extremely powerful, Shahao still had to fight. This was the final trial. Once he made it through, he would be like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon, becoming a king. If he failed, then his body and Tao would be erased, no longer existing in this world. A battle of life or death, whether the road ahead would be glorious, everything rested on this battle. He had no way out, so he had to have confidence. Kill them all. Shahao shouted, taking the initiative to attack. He leapt up into the skies. An enormous pair of Kuan-Peng wings appeared behind him, the golden feathers carrying black-colored stripes, covering heaven and earth. He displayed the Kuan-Peng's technique to its limit. All sides were shaken, the void splitting apart. He fought against these four great experts alone. Fighting against me with my Kuan-Peng technique. What was frightening was that the black-colored Kuan-Peng winged male on the other side actually spoke. His eyes were resplendent, making others alarmed. Does he have intelligence? Is it a complete creature, not one controlled by a mysterious power? In the rear, the divine striking stone cried out strangely while trembling greatly. Kill. Shahao didn't move. A myriad of symbols appeared from the Kuan-Peng wings, shining with brilliance. It was as if endless stars smashed over from beyond, blasting down on the four great experts before him. Break. That person released a low roar. Black-colored Kuan-Peng wings appeared, moving about, smashing into his golden wings. Dawn. This was like a collision of heaven and earth, the sounds enormous. It was as if the heavens and earth were collapsing. The feathers of these two individuals' wings flew everywhere, continuously falling, carrying traces of blood. Hong Long. The void collapsed, releasing a powerful rumbling sound. At the same time, the other three experts took action as well. Lightning, reincarnation, heaven's hand, they all struck over. It was as if a scorching sun was exploding. Immediately afterwards, an ancient aura swept outwards. Shahao knew that this was reincarnation power. That person's face was continuously changing, from an elder to a child, and then back to an elder. It was incomparably terrifying. Now that he encountered this type of precious technique, Shahao had no choice but to face it head-on. However, he was extremely careful as well, not allowing even the slightest bit to affect him. With a hong sound, reincarnation symbols surged, clashing intensely with the resplendent light up ahead. This place became completely chaotic. Just this first exchange of attacks was already intense to the extreme, making others tremble. In the time it took for sparks to fly off a piece of flint, the The 5 individuals continuously collided, the sounds released deafening. Murderous energy swept out in all directions. This type of battle exceeded the imaginations of everyone at this level, absolutely world-shocking. This wasn't just a confrontation between people at the divine flame realm. It already exceeded the limits of what people at this level should have. It was too fast. This type of speed exceeded the understanding of normal people. They were all after images, to the extent where the speed alone already affected the stability of the space around this place, as if even time itself became distorted, not creatures, but a type of embodiment of 4 types of profound mysteries evolved to the limit. Just what kind of things are your consciousnesses attached to? Shahao was shocked and bewildered. This was too inconceivable. He sensed it, his powerful divine senses telling him that these weren't true creatures. Even though they looked real, there were still holes in their existence. Can it be that I am in some type of illusion and fighting against myself? Shahao developed suspicions, feeling that he was perhaps fighting against the profound mysteries that he comprehended, as if he instantly saw through everything. Were the so-called ominous and strange events just this? Who cares what you all really are? I'll just suppress and kill you all. He shouted, not thinking about anything more. He concentrated his attention, fighting with everything he had. The great battle was too intense. Shahao was fighting 4 enemies, all of them not weaker than himself. It was to the extent where in terms of precious techniques, those 4 reached the limits of perfection. They warped and weaved about, fighting endlessly. It had to be said that Shahao ignited 3,000 Tao flames, so his strength improved by leaps and bounds, becoming quite a bit more powerful than before. What was even more important was that his comprehension of the Tao, his analysis of his future path, had already matured, filled with Tao intent, symbols filling the skies. Originally, their strength was similar, but his understanding of the Tao and world was comparatively much greater, and as such, he was able to weave about these 4 great experts. After all, even though these 4 experts were strong, their bodies still had problems, without as much experience as himself. The fight was intense. Shahao continuously coughed out blood. Even though he was powerful, being attacked from all sides still put him in great danger. Seal, open. Shahao shouted. Within his body, supreme being blood surged. He displayed his innate secret techniques to suppress the 4 great experts. Heaven's hand and reincarnation merged together, and there was even a 3rd type of strange symbols that appeared, merging together. This was a trump card that he relied on. He had previously researched and studied it, but ultimately decided to seal it. He didn't use this type of power before igniting the 3,000 streaks of Tao flames. Sure enough, because he had sealed it, none of the enemies displayed this type of profound mystery. He displayed it fully, tearing apart the void. Brilliant lights surrounded heaven and earth. On the other side, the one with Kuan Peng wings took on this resplendent strike, blasted outwards, flesh hacked into tatters. The one with reincarnation symbols had his head brushed by a streak of holy light. Blood surged. I will kill all of you. Shahao roared. He charged forward, about to eliminate all of the ominous and inauspicious existences. Shahao was as vigorous as a tiger. Holy light could be seen around him, leaving behind after images, as he rushed forward. Lightning moves the 9 heavens. The creature that grasped the Lightning Emperor's precious technique, wearing an armor covered in rust, used the most powerful strike, the Lightning Emperor's forbidden secret method. In the past, Shahao had used this method that could cross cultivation realms to kill true deities, shaking up all of Fire Province's grasslands, and shocking Goddess Academy. Streak after streak of lightning interweaved, condensing the black mist in the sky. There were clouds in the distance as well, forming the world's most basic lightning Tao element, about to recreate lightning tribulation. This place was extremely dark to begin with, so now that these dark clouds gathered, it was as if night covered this place. Together with the streaks of blazing electrical radiance that released pipa sounds, blasting through the void, it was as if the end of the world was arriving. Shahao slaughtered until hot blood surged, battle intent rushing into the heavens. Just now, he already removed the head of the creature with reincarnation symbols, and now, he was facing the one with the Lightning Emperor's precious technique, still without any fear. He warped through the sky, towering in the dark void, allowing the lightning to interweave. He formed imprints with his hands, and then one palm struck towards the sky, one towards the Lightning Emperor technique creature on the earth. He unexpectedly chose to face this attack head-on, not moving out of the way at all. In reality, this was perhaps also a decision made without a choice. Once the Lightning Emperor's technique displayed its might, its effects were widespread, impossible to hide from. However, this wasn't a true thunderstorm, not meeting the conditions for displaying the ultimate profoundness of this divine ability. As such, he powerfully took action. In the sky, the ominous back fog couldn't truly replace clouds in the end. There was still some time before the clouds in the distance would gather. Shahao's palm shook heaven and earth, making even the void cave in. However, there was also an enormous streak of silver that struck down. It was incomparably thick, the gathering of lightning element. Lightning Dao symbols appeared on Shahao's body, using this lightning radiance to dissolve the attacks. In addition, the palm he slapped downward with was even more powerful, accompanied with the unmatched profound mysteries of his own precious technique, as it struck towards that creature. The individual on the ground couldn't avoid it, because the mysterious symbols were extending in the void, shining with incomparable brilliance, and interweaving like a spider web, as it descended. It sealed off all paths. It faced this attack head-on, but in the end, it coughed out blood, its body flying outwards. Kill. Shahao shouted. His eyes formed the martial Dao heavenly eyes symbols. Like two true dragons, that individual's movements were all captured in his mind, allowing him to act in advance. Shahao's palm condensed into the most complex patterns. The heaven calamity light and reincarnation symbols condensed together, within them a third type of divine patterns as well. The power this attack displayed was exceptionally great. Shahao's entire arm became resplendent like a golden holy sword. It was the arm of a true immortal that illuminated the heavens. He fiercely brandished downwards. The individual who possessed the Lightning Emperor precious techniques suffered serious injuries to begin with, and at this moment, its body's movements was seen through, its next move already guessed. Now that it faced this attack, it couldn't defend against it. This creature was killed as well, its head flying outwards and exploding in the void, turning into a rain of blood. The headless corpse collapsed, too crazy. Another one was killed. In the rear, Cao Yusheng and the others were shocked. What kind of secret method was Shahao using to actually be this tyrannical? In reality, not even Shahao himself could completely see through the new Supreme Being technique. He only began to evolve it, still in its budding stages, not truly forming yet. Now, he found that this technique could merge together with reincarnation and heaven calamity light, allowing the power to increase several-fold. This was truly a bit shocking. He didn't know if this was a technique purely of power, or if it truly could increase the powers of other Supreme Being techniques. When it completely matured, everything would be exposed. When that time came, this type of unmatched technique's power would definitely increase several folds, to the extent of displaying some unknown ability as well. There is still half of them left. The little rabbit shouted, staring with her red eyes, jumping about excited and stirred up. He was actually about to succeed, defeat this ominous and auspicious event. The creature with heaven's hand released strand after strand of white light, attacking indiscriminately. The Kuanpeng humanoid, who had been struck until it only had half its life left, body in tatters, also crawled up to take action. Just let it end. Shahao shouted. His body shone, releasing techniques that connected the heavens and moved the earth. He led over the gradually scattering lightning clouds with one hand, the other striking forward. He also displayed the Lightning Emperor's precious technique, using the lightning elements that the previous creature left behind. This was the same as two people's joint power. Endless lightning descended. His other hand rose up, producing lightning radiance that hacked down on these two creatures. The two powerful experts were both scorched black. Even though they weren't dead, they flew upwards, bodies burnt and charred. Lightning released pipa sounds as it scuttled about randomly on their bodies. Kill. Shahao moved an enormous pair of Kuanpeng wings, rushing after them. He used his own innate Supreme Being techniques as well. With a pu sound, their bodies were struck through. This place became quiet. The blue stone paths had blood, not black, but actually dark red, looking like they possessed vigorous vitality, different from before. Succeeded, you've now taken that step. The divine striking stone cried out. I have witnessed a miracle. Cao Yusheng also said, his heart somewhat shaking. It was because from the past to present, how many creatures had died, failing to succeed. Yet today, he witnessed this great achievement. Peerless talent. The little rabbit released rare words of praise, blinking her large eyes. Why hasn't the black mist scattered? Qingyi was feeling great joy, but she quickly calmed down. She saw that the situation was strange, hurriedly reminding everyone. In reality, forget about him, even Shahao felt something sinister. The lamp in the void hadn't scattered, not disappearing. Meanwhile, nearby, the black mists became even thicker, exerting a type of pressure, as well as terrifying energy. It was as if the fog of a great abyss had just dispersed, revealing the true malevolent being behind it. Suddenly, the flesh on the ground recombined. The four creatures immediately merged together, turning into one. Kuan-Peng wings spread out, lightning curled around its body, reincarnation symbols covering it densely, heaven calamity light merging with its arms. There was also a type of brand new symbol engraved within its body. Shahao was shocked. That was the third supreme being technique he was only starting to unseal, yet it was now possessed by the other party. This made him shiver inwardly. So fast, so quick. It was the same as having no secrets. What exactly was there in the dark and unknown? Wasn't this the same as understanding all precious techniques in this world? Just the thought alone made a chill run through his body, his heart difficult to find peace. Kill. Shahao rushed forward murderously, attacking with all he had to kill this creature. He also burned up everything here, not leaving behind any other remains in hopes that his precious techniques wouldn't be leaked out. Only, he felt like it might be futile. Even if he killed this creature, that mysterious power would likely still understand everything he had. The two individuals crossed hands. Shahao fought with everything he had, not giving it the chance to evolve to the extreme. He used all of the methods he had. The void became indistinct, continuously distorting. This place seemed to be caving in. Symbols and natural law power interweaved, shocking everyone to their core. Shahao's body was dripping with blood, his injuries not light. However, after colliding several hundred times, he killed that mysterious and sinister creature. Without even thinking another thought, 3,000 patterns interweaved, burning everything clean. Regardless, he was still going to burn away all of the traces to prevent anything about himself from being exposed. He began to dispel the black fog and hack at the ancient lamp in the void. Suddenly, the ancient lamp released a light cry, and like a mirror, displayed the decisive scene from just now. It rushed into the distance, about to leave, succeeded. Even the abnormalities are running. The little rabbit cried out excitedly. Shahao's expression, however, changed. What he was fearing the most was happening after all. He didn't have any secrets left. The mysterious natural laws brought the lamp into the distance. Shahao didn't have time to worry about his injuries. He chased after it, wishing to see where the strangeness originated from, and even more so to destroy that ancient lamp. Turns out it wasn't a true understanding, needing this ancient lamp to bring everything it has witnessed back. He said to himself. Previously, he had all types of speculations, believing that it was a land of illusions, but now it seemed like the dark unknown indeed had some type of power, able to do terrifying things. From the ancient times until now, has it aroused the most powerful mysterious techniques of every single heavenly talent and then brought them back. He didn't know if this was true. Kill. Shahao shouted loudly. With the void halberd in hand, he soared through the air, hacking down on that ancient lamp. It released sinister light, rotating about. The heart of the lamp became even more bright, illuminating all of Shahao's flesh, making him seem nearly transparent. Even the mysterious fiery light, within the very depths of Shahao's body, was displayed and lit up. However, because of this, the ancient lamp trembled, and then became dim. It quickly left into the distance, as if it had sensed something bad. With a shua sound, a fist-sized lump of fiery light flew out from within Shahao, one formed from all types of symbols. It rushed forward to chase after the ancient lamp. Then, a crisp sound rang through the air. The lamp split apart, turning into broken pieces. At the same time, this flame engulfed the heaven and earth, weaving and warping about, burning away all of the remaining black fog, not leaving anything behind. What is this? Did you finally succeed? There isn't going to be anything else ominous that will happen, right? The little fatty cow Yusheng and Qingyi all chased over, revealing shocked expressions. That fiery light descended, entering Shahao's body before disappearing. Over there are fluctuations. Shahao sensed a wave of sinister energy that was even more ominous than before. After some hesitation, he rushed over, arriving beyond the 3,000 bluestone paths. He saw an enormous black crack in the void that was like a great valley. Was the source of all the strangeness inside this great crack? After arriving here, Shahao's entire body became cold. Even someone as powerful as him felt as if he fell into an ice house, a wave of bone-chilling coldness filling him. This was not just purely from the outside, but also from deep within his heart. This place was dangerous without a doubt. However, he still endured it, walking forward to take a look, even if he didn't enter, and just looked in from the outside. It was because he just had too many suspicions. What exactly was this thing? What exactly were the origins of the strange and ominous careful? The people behind them shouted, quickly catching up. Shahao took a deep breath and walked forward, arriving before that enormous crack in the void. He looked inside. In that instant, his face became pale. He saw what was inside, and then he immediately thought of a legend. His expression was unpleasant to look at, his heart greatly shaken. All of you, get away, quick, you all cannot come over, cannot see it. Shahao roared. His expression was anxious, stopping the others from approaching. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.